Hello AAADHDIG. If you're watching this, that means that I was not able to make tonight's presentation. That's right, I said tonight's presentation. I'm actually filming this on Tuesday, the 27th of February, 2024. And this is my backup in case I can't make it this evening. Because I'm so honored to be invited to present once again at AAADHDIG. I love everything about that organization, like from early days of AAADHDIG, and look at everyone now, it's huge. Thank you so much, Di, for having me or this recording of me. Now, I want to give some value today. I really want to share some things that I think are going to be really, really helpful to all of the wonderful colleagues here today. My name's Jack O'Toole Johnston, if you haven't met me or heard of me before. And I'm an ADHD coach, among a handful of other things. But maybe most importantly, I have ADHD. And a lot of where I coach from is from drawing from my lived experience, along with, a big pile of other sources that I won't bore everyone with listing right now. Now, that's too much introduction. Let's get into some useful things. So, I was asked to present about a topic which I believe is very valuable to share with my clients. If I can help other practitioners learn about this topic, that's great. But more importantly, Di emphasized when she spoke with me that I should lean into how I teach this content, how I share this content with my clients in order to get not just their understanding, but their implementation. Their ability to take the content that I share with them and apply it creatively in their own lives as needed. That's what I hope to do today in a very small window of which I've already used a little bit too much of my time. Now, my topic, emotional regulation. And to me, emotional regulation, the more that I am working in this field, the more that I really am beginning to believe that is so vastly the majority of the condition. It's so very much the most important part of all of our work, in my opinion. I have found that emphasizing and focusing on helping what I would call clients, what you might call patients, manage their nervous systems, learn to become aware of what's occurring inside, and learn how they can take that awareness to then take steps to actually adjust how they're feeling. I found that over time, that is more valuable than any other technique or strategy or tip or time-saving hack or whatever. Because when we're regulated, we don't need those other things. I don't need the reminders or the post-it notes on the walls to do this, or to remember to brush my teeth or take the bins out if I'm actually composed and settled. Or at least I need them a hell of a lot less. And I'd go the other way. If my nervous system was dysregulated, if it's just, no amount of tool or technique or resource is going to get through to me. It doesn't matter how good my systems might be, if I'm in a state of just extreme distress, emotional, just overwhelm, shutdown, etc., panic, fear, anxiety, whatever, I'm not going to use the tools. They're not accessible to me in that moment. So the first thing that I need to do is maintain a regulated nervous system. Now, usually by now I would have, with my clients, I give a bit of a speech like that. I explain the importance of it and I say that the tools are useless if you're not composed enough to access them. That tends to be language that cuts through and gets people's attention. The next thing that I do, particularly I would gauge their receptivity to this. I like to, where possible, use the model of the sympathetic versus parasympathetic nervous system, because that's the model that I find is most valuable to teach this. Of course, the handy acronym, sympathetic is your fight, flight, freeze, fib, fawn, etc., many other Fs. But fight or flight is the one that most people are familiar with. So I say you've got your two nervous system states, your sympathetic nervous system, if they're receptive to that language, or your fight or flight state, and then your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest. It's the mnemonic for that. I often ask them to repeat that back to me, make sure that they've got the right ones right. If I'm teaching the sympathetic, parasympathetic terms, some people it's too complex, cool. Technical terms, don't need them. Some people love the detail. I explain that these are sort of, in a way, competing, which is, we know, is a bit of an oversimplification, but also useful. I'm reminded I'm going to deviate quickly on a quote that I think is I'm really enjoying using a lot these days, which is, all models are wrong, but some are useful. So this model of the seesaw between the two different states, it's not quite right, but it is useful. Now, I explain to people that the parasympathetic state, our rest and digest, it's when we're composed, we're grounded, and that's where we have the most blood flow to our brain. Most importantly though, I talk about the fight or flight state, the sympathetic state, and I go very primitive, something that people will understand. I say, imagine you're being chased by a lion. Because that's what fight or flight is about. It's about a response to threat or a perceived threat. If you're being chased by a lion, you're in a fight or flight state. You're not going to be thinking about your tax return or that homework, that essay that's due tomorrow. You're running from the lion. Nothing else matters. Now, people with ADHD, and I talk about myself here, it's an advantage that I have that you may not have, where I can say, in my ADHD, I find that because there's already so much going on, I'm already closer towards that fight or flight stage. That means I have to try harder to calm things down. But the really important thing that I emphasize, and I ask some questions and get some responses here, where I say, if you're being chased by a lion, what are some of the things that happen in your body? And I wait for them to list them off. Heart rate increases, muscles firing, adrenaline, respiration, and I might act it out and make it all clear to them. But the biggest thing that I emphasize is if you're in a state of fight or flight, then your body is going to be allocating resources to the muscles, to the tissues that it needs. It's going to take blood and put it in your muscles and increase your heart rate, etc. Increase your cortisol and adrenaline. And then I ask them, and where do you think most of that blood gets taken from? It's got to come from somewhere to go into the muscles when we need to run or fight. They make a few wrong guesses, and then I talk about how generally it comes from the brain. And that once we enter this fight or flight state, our IQ, our ability to problem solve, massively declines very quickly. And so I give the example then of if someone's sitting in an exam at university or school, it's a relatable example for many, and they're sitting there and they turn the page and they see an answer that they don't understand. First thing that might happen, if they're sensitive, if they're aware, oh my God, they're perceiving that as a threat. Heart rate pounding, blood pumping, blood out of brain, problem solving, in the bin, ability to think rationally, gone. Is that the response that we need from our body to do this task? I ask them. No. And most of us, what we do, we're in this panic. Oh God, I've got to do something. Try it. No. Step one, regulate. Turn the page. Oh yeah, exam's going well. Oh, what's this? Oh God. I'm noticing that I'm getting quite sympathetic. I'm in a fight or flight state. Is this a useful state for me to be in for the task that's bothering me? No. How should I be? More regulated, more rest and digest, more cerebral blood flow. How do I do that? Breathing technique. Or many other things. In this example, breathing techniques, splashing cold water on the face, activating that mammalian dive reflex. That's a good one. Underrated. Very useful. Slow that heart rate down. Regain that control of the nervous system. And then once the blood is back in the brain, now I shall problem solve adequately. That's my little piece for today. So much I would love to say on that topic. I truly have so much to say, but I have been going for just over 10 minutes now, and that means I'm eating into someone else's time. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Look, it's an honor to present this content. I truly hope that it helps you with your work, with your patients, with your clients. And yeah, it's a shame I couldn't be there tonight, but I hope that it's an incredible evening, some great presentations from everyone, and everyone's frantically taking notes as their brains are just exploding with useful knowledge. Thank you again. Take care. I'll see you soon.